Welcome, it's Mariam, based on University of Tehran, Iran. Today, we're gonna discuss about design and happiness. I have always been fond of emotional design, rife with lovely huggable forms, until the year when I first read The Emotional Design by Donald Norman, which the cover page was a minimalist design. I tried to digest the contrast, but at the end I came up with the conclusion that emotional design is a strategy to provoke consumption, the attempt of psychologists to introduce hidden layers of human emotion. It was not what I was looking for. Searching around, I came up with a newborn field of psychology called positive psychology. For thousands of years, psychology focused on the dark realm of mental illness and healing disorders. In contrast, positive psychology is a new approach of psychology in 21st century, the scientific study of what makes life worth living, the strengths and virtues that enable individuals and communities to thrive. A case in point, positive psychology has a lot to offer in furthering our understanding related to happiness. According to a growing number of positive psychologists, we can choose to be happy. It has validated strategies which can lastingly increase the happiness of people. However, it should not be confused with any non-evidential field of motivational or self-help study due to the fact that positive psychology is a well-researched branch of science which has formulated all its findings. The term formula implies that you can follow a scientific method of discovery to determine what makes you happy. Martin Seligman proposed one of these formulas which has been adopted by many scientists. He presents his findings in the form of an equation. It states that the enduring level of happiness is equal with the sum of set point, circumstances, and voluntary control activities. The amount of influence that these factors have on the enduring level of happiness is similar for all people and can be summarized in a pie chart. About 50% of satisfaction with life comes from genetic programming, or also known as set point. Like circumstances, factors like income, marital status, religion, and education account for approximately 10%. While it's impossible to change genetic makeup and impractical to change life circumstances, as much as 40% of the variants leave for intentional activities in order to increase happiness level. However, choosing the right behavior can be difficult, as a phenomenon called inclination of people in anticipating the future. So people mostly make mistakes in estimating what makes them happy. In this regard, Dan Gilbert stated that the part of our brain that enables us to simulate the future is one of the nature's newest inventions. So it isn't surprising that when we try to use this new ability to imagine our futures, we make some rookie errors. For instance, we believe that having children would make us happy, that consuming goods and services will make us happy. But the data show that money has minor and rapidly diminishing effect on happiness, and that parents are generally happier watching TV or doing housework than interacting with their children. Since we are not good predictors to decide which activities will make us happy, Seligman indicates a purposeful structure: pleasure plus engagement plus meaning. Activities which consider these three aspects will increase life satisfaction. Let's define it by exploring each element. Pleasure. Design research literature refers to pleasure as a product benefit that exceeds just proper functioning. It's important to note that pleasure is not simply a property of a product, but of the interaction between a product and a person. Paul Heckert explains four general principles of aesthetic pleasure. However, we should note that pleasure covers all pleasant emotional reactions. Engagement has been practically explored under the theory of flow. According to Csikszentmihalyi, flow is the feeling of complete engagement in a creative or playful activity, familiar to athletes, musicians, and almost anyone who loses himself in a favorite pursuit. Here is the flow model. There must be balance between ability level and challenge. The activity is neither too easy nor too difficult. One may experience flow here when the challenge level, skill level, and concentration are all high. Then we have meaning. Design in this state is not intended to make the user happy with his whole life, but the attempt is to suggest an opportunity in which make the user happy through a meaningful experience. In this regard, Nathan Shedroff discusses a framework for experience with 6 dimensions. He claims that successful experiences are meaningful and not merely novel. Moreover, he has enlisted core meanings, such as accomplishment, beauty, creation, and so on. As you see, happiness is not indicated as a core meaning, because happiness is only achievable when it's byproduct of something else. Different people express meanings differently. As discussed later, user interviews and social-based designs raise a framework in which the definition of happiness for Iranian society was identified. Okay, here we are. Positive psychology has validated strategies which can lastingly increase the happiness of people. Can products and services be designed to embody these strategies? That is what I try to define in this research. This model is prepared based on positive psychology, formula for committing happiness from the design point of view, where the 3 components of happiness can be translated into an experience in order to design an emotionally meaningful product. Although it's new in the design realm, many toolkits and happiness boosters have been proposed in psychological literature. A case in point, Libyorski says that it's possible to become lastingly happier by her 12 strategies. These strategies proposed in her book, The How of Happiness, are a series of tangible activities for users to commit them in daily life, contributed in creation of a habit. Besides, she has provided a person activity fit diagnostic in order to find suitable strategies that fit with one's lifestyle. Here we have the Libyorski's 12 strategies. The vertical arrow indicates the religious mandatory, which is an active aspect in the Iranian society. The strategies closer to the bottom of the vertical side are more likely to be implemented as habits and less effective. The horizontal indicates individualism or collectivism of each strategy. A target group consists of 28 volunteer Iranian men and women between the ages of 24 to 57 from different life phases were gathered. Half of them were interviewed and asked to write down what will make them happy in their life. The next group members were asked to take pictures of moments during which they experienced happiness for 2 weeks. The 2 different methods were used due to the fact that happiness researchers distinguish between the experiencing self and remembering self. Here we have the results. Although what Iranians think will make them happy is compatible with Rybowski strategies, but the pictures taken by participants shows that what makes the Iranian happy is in significant contrast with Libyorski's 12 strategies to commit happiness. Culturally, Iran is relatively high in collectivism, especially related to the family life, while the positive psychology strategies have been raised through an individualist context, where the values are primarily different. But the difference is not restricted to the collectivist tendency in the target context. It's also about underestimating the role of religious background among users. The Libyorski strategies are similar in concept, with religious mandatories among the target users. It has infected the effectiveness of the strategies, since they are perceived as daily habits. Iranians find happiness in moments which break the routine of daily religious offers. To my concept, instead of focusing on individual variation from the psychological viewpoint, designers should consider group member similarities from the psychological perspective, which yields launching more fulfilling products and services in a wider spectrum. Accordingly, an example is provided through an experience where the three components of happiness meet and merge to one another. We learn that Iranians mostly perceive their collective moments as happy experiences, significantly if they are gifted surprisingly in order to break the routine, and as the basis for a proposed experience defined as the stages follow. Receiving a gift, an apple, which suggests you to follow a tail in order to fully enjoy your gift. Inside the body, it also contains messages from previous users, indicating their feeling after experiencing that. This may persuade you to follow the tail. The way ended in an orphan's dormitory. Entering the dormitory, no kids are around. Walk toward the tree in the center of the yard to hang the gift. By doing so, the celebration bell rings. Kids gather around, and the tree starts shooting confetti toward them. Long, colorful ribbons to play and have fun. After the event, you sign the gift with a message about your feeling, gifted to another friend you wish to experience the same experience. It may make you wonder about moments in your life rife with emptiness and absurdity. This experience reveals the unidentified affection you may have in others' life, how you surprised the kids and brought delight into their eyes. The provided design is not an endpoint, but the beginning of a process for the user. Sharing the gift indicates that happiness is most meaningful when it's shared. Nothing will remain in the user's hands but the delight in heart. Thanks for your attention. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions about the issue. Good luck.